Hello and welcome guys. So now that we are done with the modeling, in this lecture we will apply all the modifiers and then UV unwrap it to export it to Substance Painter so that we can start with the texturing. So basically what I mean by applying all the modifiers is like making all the changes permanent. Right now you can like select any of these boolean boxes and move them around, and you will see the updates are being made into the model. But when you apply all the modifiers, you cannot really make any changes. So make sure you are happy with your model completely. Let me just quickly show you by an example. If I add a cube over here, duplicate this, and let's say I use the difference operation. So select this, then press Control minus. And you can see I can select this cube over here and this cutout is created and I can move it around however I like and it is moving. But let's say I select this cube, and to apply the modifier, there are like two different ways, I think. You need to select the object, go over here in the modifier tab and select the modifier, click over here on this arrow and hit apply. As soon as you do that, now you will see the changes are permanent. If you move this around, you cannot really like change the cutout. This cutout that is made on this object is permanent. If you press tab, you can see you can now edit it around, but you cannot really like change this like cutout by moving this box. You can like undo it and then it will come back and now you can again do it. But yeah, that is basically it. Right now if you select this object, press tab, you will see the cube is like complete, and as soon as you come out of the edit mode, then you can move around the boolean object. But as soon as you like apply the modifier, when you press tab, you can like edit all these faces also. So yeah, that is basically applying the modifier. All right, so let's just delete these things now. All right, so back to our main model. We cannot really like select each and every object and one by one apply all the modifiers. That would be like really long. So there is like a nice and easy shortcut for this. But before that, what I basically want to do is I want to create a duplicate of this file, because I don't really want to apply all the modifiers on my this model, because maybe later on in the future we face some type of issue that we have to fix in the main model, or we want to like modify this model in some sort of way. So we need to keep this like model without any modifiers applied. So basically I will just create a duplicate of this file, and in that duplicate file we will just apply all the modifiers so that our main model like remains intact. It has all the modifiers. So yeah, just go over to file, save as, and we will just save it as Nintendo Game Boy. In bracket we can write applied, so that we know this file has all the modifiers applied, and hit save as. Now we are in the applied file. So all right, now we need to apply all the modifiers on our main object. So the shortcut for that is just press A to select everything, then press F3. So F3 is basically to search for a command and search for convert to mesh. So you will find this one, convert to mesh. As soon as you do that, just select it, and you will notice that we have some kind of weird result. While all the modifiers are applied, but we have like a very weird result. Our main body is disappeared. So just undo this. And the reason for this is, if you remember, I mentioned like a few lectures back, whenever we use like the intersect operation, we need to go over here in the object data properties and make sure to like make the object data unique. So I think we forgot it for some piece. Yeah, for this main object only, we forgot to like make it unique. You can see this 2 over here. So this 2 means it is being used by two different objects. So yeah, we use like intersect operation just once with this thing. So yeah, that time we forgot to like click over here to make it unique. So just click over here now and quickly check if there are like any other remaining objects that we need to like make the object data property unique. But I don't think there are any. And now if we again press A to select everything, then press F3, and the command is already written over here. So just select convert to mesh. I think it would work properly now. Yeah, as you can see, everything is fine. Now if you select like any of the boolean object and try to move it around, you will see that none of the changes are being made. That means the modifier has been applied and all the changes are now permanent. You can select it and see over here in the modifier stack also, you will see nothing. So the first thing that I will do is I will delete all these unnecessary objects. So just quickly select them all and one by one just delete them. You can hold shift and create a selection like this to delete two or three of them at once. All right, I think all of them are deleted now. So yeah, now we can proceed further and let's see. Next thing that we can do is, okay, this one we left, delete it. And yeah, now what we can do is we can press A to select everything and now press M and move this to a new collection. Let's rename this collection to Game Boy. Hit OK. So that a separate collection is created over here. I don't want these reference images now, so I can just select them. If you want to delete them, you can delete them, or we can just press M and move this to another collection reference images so that we can basically just hide it like this. Let's add the material now. So select this object, select any object, and then add a new material. Rename this material to Game Boy. And this material would be like acting as a texture set in Substance Painter. You will understand when we export this to Substance Painter. So yeah, now we need to copy this material onto each and every single object on our model. So again, the long way to do this would be to just select each and every object, go over here and select Game Boy like this. But yeah, that is very long and tedious. So the shortcut for this is just select any object that has this material like the Game Boy one. So I will select this main object, then press A to select rest of the objects. So select everything to press A, then press Ctrl L to link the data and link materials like this. And you can see 30 is written over here. That means this object is, or this material is being used by 30 different objects. So yeah, we have copied it successfully. Let's hit save. And the next thing to do is we need to apply all the modifiers. Oh, sorry. Next thing to do is to UV unwrap this so that we can finally export this to Substance Painter. So let's go over to the UV editing tab, and UV unwrapping would be like a very straightforward and easy process. The first step that I want you all to do is just press A to select everything, then just press Ctrl A to apply the scale, because if the scale is not applied, it can mess up with the UVs. So yeah, make sure the scale is applied for each and every single one of the object. Then press Tab, press A to select everything. You can select this also so that corresponding vertices are selected in the UVs also and in the 3D window. And enable display stretch from over here. So display stretch is basically, it will show you the stretching in the UV islands going on. So basically what this means is it will show you different colors for different types of stretching. So what you want to aim for is this dark blue color. If you have this kind of dark blue color over all your UV islands, that means your UVs are pretty good. But if the color is like yellow, green or red, that means they are facing some kind of stretching. So just press A to select everything, then press U and Smart UV Project, hit OK. And yeah, more or less everything is like blue colored only. So that means the UVs are pretty good. You can just click over here and increase the island margin just so everything like fills out properly. Alright, so basically that was it. Next, what we can do is go over to the layout tab again, and we need to export this to Substance Painter. So one thing that I want you guys to check before exporting is to go over here and enable face orientation and make sure everything is this dark blue color. If anything you see is like red color, so let me just quickly show you. If anything is like this for you, because it can happen, it is like very common, you don't have to worry. That just means that the normals are flipped and you need to fix the normals. So if any of the object, let me just do 2-3 different objects. Yeah, so like that, if you have like 2 or 3 different objects with this red color, like we can see one I missed, it was like already this red color. So yeah, to fix this, it is really easy. You need to just select the object, press tab, press A to select everything, then press shift plus N to recalculate the normals. As soon as you do that, you will see it is back to its blue color. So press A to select everything, then Shift N, and yeah, just recalculate the normals. Whenever you do like the recalculate normals, you will notice sometimes the edges can go a little bit weird. So you don't have to worry. Just select that particular object, go over to modifiers and add a weighted normal modifier. And yeah, basically that will fix everything, and just quickly apply it. So yeah, this is a necessary thing that you must know. So I think this one was another one. Yeah, okay, this one. Press tab, press A, and Shift N. And for the last one, this one also, press tab, press A to select everything, then press Shift plus N. If you don't check this and export some of the objects with like flipped normals, it will look like very weird in Substance Painter, as if it is like flipped inside out. So yeah, just make sure to do that. And now I think we have done everything that we needed to do. So first, just press A to select everything, go over to File, Export, and we can select any kind of like format that we want to export into. So I've already like experimented with this a little bit. So we were getting like, I was getting like a little bit of problems with all different formats. The best one that was working was this one, .obj, wavefront obj legacy one. So just select that one. Make sure to enable selection only, so that only the selection that you have made is exported. And the name, we can keep it to this only. Let's come back, and in the exports folder, hit export. Wait for it to export, and yeah, now the export file is created. Open up Substance Painter, and let's wait for it to open, and then we can import our exported model into Substance Painter. Alright guys, so now that Substance Painter has opened up, you can just close this window, click over here on File, New, and click on this Select. And let's come over to our tutorial directory. In the exports folder, just select this file that we just exported from Blender and hit open. You do not really need to make any changes to this window, because all of these changes we can do later on also. Like you can change the resolution or the normal map format to anything you want. So yeah, that is totally up to you if you want to make any changes, but we don't really have to do anything over here. I will just hit OK now and wait for it to just pop up. And yeah, just quickly hold Alt and use your left click to move around and see if there are any kind of issues in your model. And right away, I am noticing a couple of issues. Let's see how we can fix them. So the very first thing that I'm noticing, in some of the Boolean objects, you can see they are not like visible properly. Over here also, you can see they are looking like really weird. And if you remember, we had the cutout till here like this, but over here we cannot really see it on this side, and everything is pretty weird. So yeah, I think there is like a really easy fix for this. What I will do is I will quickly go back to Blender, press A to select everything, then press tab, and then again press A to select everything, then just hit Ctrl plus T, and this will basically triangulate everything, and I think that will help with the shading issues. And then you can press Alt J to remove the little bit of triangulation, and yeah, I think it is pretty good now. We need to UV unwrap it once again, so let's go back to UV editing, press tab, press A to select everything, and you can see the UVs got messed up a little bit. So just press U, Smart UV Project, hit OK. And yeah, basically that was it. Now we need to export this once again. So go over to File, Export, Wavefront OBJ, and just don't make any changes, just hit export, so that this file that we exported earlier will get replaced. So hit export, come back to Substance Painter, and again go over to File, Create a new project, click on Select and select this one. And now let's just hit OK again and hit discard and see if the problems were fixed. So again, just hold Alt, use your left click and move around the model. And yeah, you will notice that all these Boolean cutouts are now properly visible. We have a little bit of issue going on over here. We have the shading issue. Let's address this now. But I will just quickly look through the complete model to see if there are any more issues than just that. You can also hold Shift and use your right click to move the lighting to view everything properly. I'm sure you are like aware with all these shortcuts, but yeah. To move around, you need to just press Alt, then hold your left mouse to move around, and then you can also use scroll wheel to pan, and then right click to zoom. So yeah, just hold Alt and use all three of the mouse buttons together to like move around properly. And I don't think there are any more issues left except this thing over here. So we have this little bit of shading issue. So let's see how we can fix this. I will go back to Blender, and I think the easiest way of doing it would be to just press tab, and I will just select a bunch of these faces which were having this issue. So select this one, hold shift, and just select, let's select all of them. And what I will do is I will just hit right click and then select shade flat. Press tab and you will see the issue was earlier there in Blender also. I will just undo it. And yeah, you can see this issue was there in Blender also. But if I just select them all again and right click and shade flat it, the issue is now gone. So yeah, now we can again press A to select everything, file, export, wavefront, and hit export again. So yeah, this is like a little bit of long and tedious process. We have to like export our model again and again to see like if all the issues are fixed. This is like a back and forth process. It can take like a couple of times. Sometimes it takes me like 5, 6 or 7, 8 times to like properly fix all of the issues. And now, yeah, you can see the shading issue is now gone. So this way you can like tackle all these issues that you face while exporting from Blender to Substance Painter. And now what we need to do is we need to, first I will go to display settings over here and make sure to just enable temporal anti-aliasing from here. This will like remove all the jagged edges. So let me just show you. If you like turn this off, you can see all of the jagged edges. But if you enable this, they are like a lot more smoother, and yeah, it is like nicer to look at. So now whenever you import anything into Substance Painter, the first thing that you must do is you need to bake the mesh maps. So mesh maps are basically like function of Substance Painter only. It will help us in using all the features, like nice features that Substance has to provide, like smart mask, smart materials. So yeah, to use all of them, we first need to bake the mesh maps of our model. Also, if you remember, I mentioned that whatever material we create, it will show up as the texture set over here. So you can see this Game Boy texture set. Right now, because we only have one material in our model, that's why only one of them is showing up. But if we have like multiple different materials, we have like multiple different texture sets appearing over here, and we can like isolate them by turning them on or off. So it is really useful when we have like 4 or 5 different materials. But yeah, we only have one, so we don't have to worry that much about it. All right. So to bake the mesh maps, also, if you do not see any of the windows from over here, like the shelf, the texture set list, texture set settings, anything, you can go over to window and the views, you can just enable or disable them and they will appear from here. All right, so to bake mesh maps, go over to texture set settings and just click on bake mesh maps. So the baking mesh map window has changed quite a bit. If you are using an old version of Substance Painter, it will look very different, but you don't have to worry at all because the functionality is basically more or less the same. You will see this window appearing on your window on the left side. So just disable ID map from over here and rest everything remains same. We don't have to like do much changes in the baking mesh map window because the default settings are pretty much good. So the only things that I will be changing is the output size. I will increase this to 4K to get the best possible quality. You can maybe work with 2K also if you have like a slower PC because baking mesh maps can take a little while. So just set this to 4K or 2K. Enable apply diffusion and use low poly mesh as high poly mesh because we only have a single mesh only. We don't have like a high poly different one or a low poly. And anti-aliasing, I will set this to 16x. You can work with 4x also. It's fine. And rest of the settings will remain pretty much same. We do not need to change anything. If you want to like edit a couple of settings for specific mesh maps, like you can select the normal map or the ambient occlusion map, and you can like increase the secondary rays. This will like increase the quality of the map for like ambient occlusion, curvature. You can see you can increase the secondary rays, and this will like increase the quality of the mesh map. But as I said, the default settings are pretty good, so I won't change much. Come back to common settings, and yeah, rest everything remains pretty much the same. Just make all these changes and hit bake selected textures and just wait for it to finish. You can see it is baking, and it might take a little while. So I will just resume the video when everything is done. Alright guys, so the baking is done now. I will just hit to return to paint mode and quickly look through your model, and you can see we have like nice little shadows appearing now in our model. We have like nice ambient occlusion appearing. So yeah, it makes it look much better. And just quickly look through your model for any kind of shading issues. You can face some after baking the mesh maps, but I don't think there are any. So we are good to go now. We can finally start with the texturing. So now that everything is final, let's first save our project. So hit Ctrl+S. And now I will just quickly head over to the tutorial directory in the Substance Painter files. Let's set the name as Nintendo Game Boy. And let's save, wait for it to save. And yeah, I think this is pretty much it for this lecture. We'll continue texturing our model in the next video. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.